Well, Luke, obviously disappointment on Saturday with the way things turned out, but I guess from your point of view, it's all about the reaction, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it was a very disappointing game in some aspects, and now we have to make a response. So I'm looking forward to seeing that tomorrow night.
How much of a balance is there for you as a head coach when you have a setback about, on one hand, learning from it, and on the other hand, not dwelling too much on it, especially when you have a game, 2 or 3 days later?
Yeah, it's very difficult actually. Yeah, it is difficult. So I've been trying to come up with the correct words and the correct actions today, and hopefully I've done a good enough job to keep the group in a good frame of mind.
Is it? Do you sort of have a general rule, or does it depend on certain circumstances about how long you need to sort of react to what's just happened, as opposed to looking at what's coming up?
Well, I think no hard and fast rules other than that human beings can't concentrate for a huge period of time, in one block, not in an intense way. So I need to make sure that I'm snappy and to the point with everything. And then, of course, it's about trying to be as accurate as you can possibly be and find the truth and trying to demonstrate that to the players. So it's a challenge every week, and sometimes twice a week you have that challenge. But that's a big part of the job, and I take that very seriously.
I guess it's one of the key parts, isn't it? Because as we always say about players, and as I mentioned at the top of the interview, it's all about response. And I guess from a coach's point of view, that's your part of the response, if you like.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, it's a huge part, and that happens throughout every day on an individual level as well. With players, try to push the players to reach their maximum, but players also need encouragement, and they need to know when they're doing things really well. And it's about how you deliver the message and so on. But all coaches and managers have to walk this tightrope, and I'm no different.
And that brings me very nicely onto the fact that, never mind what happened on Saturday, and again, this goes back to balance, I guess, but you're still top of the league after the first 10 games of the season. So it ain't all bad, is it?
No, far from it. And we really, we're driven very much by our performances, and having the feeling that when we've won, we thoroughly deserve to win. And even if we lost, if we know that we've done everything within reason, correct, and on the balance, the performance was really good, we have to try and be honest about that as well. So no, we're in a great place, but we just want desperately as a group. We want to try and capitalise on a good start and continue, and that's where that process that you're talking about is really key. Not to get too high, not to be too low, not to think everything is great when it's not, and not to think things are desperately wrong when they're not either. And so many things are about balance, and football for sure is no different.
To that end, have you been pleased, happy enough with what you've seen from the players so far? I mean, the proof is obviously going to be in the game against Swindon, but are you happy with the response you've received from them when you've been talking to them today?
Yeah, and we're not finished yet. I need to go and see the players when I finish speaking to you guys, and try to leave on the same message. Everybody, staff and players, with one frame of mind when everyone leaves, and then start to prepare their mind for tomorrow.
It's Swindon Town, and they come in third place. I think they've scored more goals than anybody in the top 4 divisions. So you're in for a right old test defensively, don't you?
Oh, absolutely. They are a brilliant team. They're an absolute joy to watch. So it's going to be very, very tough. I think we have shown already that we can compete at the level. So we're a pretty good side, and I imagine it's going to be a very, very tough game.
What about for yourself? Is it special to be playing against Swindon? You had 4 years there, I think it was, something like that. So is it you're up against them now again, having got promoted last season? A special night for you?
Yeah, I mean, I've faced Swindon on 2 occasions since I left when I was working at MK Don. So that sort of initial first first competitive game, against Swindon I've done already. But just really an incredible time for me at Swindon. Amazing memories, some really very turbulent ups and downs, and an incredible experience to learn from, because the disparity between ups and downs was was vast, and that helps you to learn a huge amount. And memories that I will treasure, players that I worked with that were incredible, that some of those guys are still my friends, and cherish that. But of course I'm head coach of a fabulous football club, and wouldn't change that for the world. So I'll be happy to see some familiar faces, and and fond memories, but now is business, and we are there to try to win the game.
It's interesting what you say there about the experiences that you had, and it kind of all goes to mould you, I guess, doesn't it, as a coach, as a manager of a football club, and when you get them so early in your career, I don't know if that's a good thing or maybe not such a good thing. Maybe it is from a learning perspective, and to sort of get you ready for what might be to come in your career.
I think experiences are good or bad depending on how you approach them, and young or old, if you approach the experiences trying to extract as much out of it as you can, you're fine. But I mean, I can tell you without going into detail that no head coach will ever experience some of the things that I experienced at Swindon Town, and I wouldn't change that for the world, by the way. I mean that. I wouldn't change it for the world, because some of the scenarios I was involved in were incredibly challenging, and like I say, the likes of which I doubt many, if any, head coaches will experience, but they were also equally of huge benefit to me. And like I say, I wouldn't go back in time and change a single thing. And so I'm now have all these experiences behind me, and try to use the things that I learnt at Swindon to try to be a better head coach here at Notts.
And it's a terrific game to be part of, isn't it? Under the lights at Meadow Lane, first against third in League Two. It promises to be something quite special, that game. It's
an incredible venue, isn't it? And I think the venue itself to look at tells you, that there's history, and that, the pitch is beautiful and it's going to be great. But then if you add the people to that mix, it's become a really special place. And I'm sure Swindon will relish that. And make it a really good spectacle, I hope.
Well, we wish you very well, Luke. Just a final check from me. Okay, injury-wise? Don't think there was any problems from Saturday, were there?
No, we had a few guys, sore after the game. It was a very challenging game, lots of sprinting, because the game became quite end-to-end, but we survived it, so we have a healthy squad.
Great. All the best. Thanks, Luke.
Thank you.
Thanks, Colin. We've got time for a few from you, Jordan.
Yeah, not too many from me.
No
we can go down and give them that pep talk.
No
so Swindon are unbeaten in their last 6. What kind of threats do you think that they can pose to you coming away tomorrow night?
Well, it's clear that they have a lot of players on the pitch that can score goals and create chances out of nothing at times, as well as being able to create well-constructed chances. So a big threat to our goal, for sure. A team with a lot of energy and intensity about them. So, this is, I don't think it's going to get much harder than this in the division. I think they're a top side.
And is this the type of game where the fans can really kind of bring that 12th man, if you say, it's such a big game against such a tough team?
Yeah, no doubt about it. That if we can give them something to feel excited about, then we have this partnership, and that can make a huge difference without a doubt.
And you are kind of very meticulous with your performances. You can get a win, but you're still not very happy because the team didn't play the way that you kind of set out to. You didn't dominate for as long as you wanted to. Obviously, you've conceded 7 in the last 2 games, and we know Swindon love to score goals. Has your focus been kind of in this short time and longer term to kind of maintain control in games for longer and bigger parts of the match?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think it's worth mentioning that although we conceded a lot of goals, we scored a lot of goals. So, you know, we're in a we're at a point where we need to try to keep our attacking threat, but we need to manage the actions in the game that are causing us problems. We need to manage those actions better, and still be the force that we are going forward. And that's a huge challenge for me and for the players, and that will be tested tomorrow night. We know that it'll be tested against any team in the division, but certainly against Swindon Town.
Lastly, a tough game against Colchester. Do you think that kind of a tough challenge against Swindon is kind of the perfect game to get your team back to winning ways, and if you do win, a great way to kind of push them on to keep going?
Yeah, I think any game in the league this season is tough, and any win is brilliant. So, yeah, whoever it is, to be honest, we would love to get a victory, and whoever it is, we know that victory would be hard earned. So Swindon are certainly no exception to that.